It was in the year 2317. The Earth had become a dark and corrupted place as the rise of technology swarmed the Earth. Techbots ran rampant. They controlled minds through artificial intelligence. Soon, humanity lost touch with reality and was consumed in a place called cyberspace, where the mindless are controlled by cyberpunks. As the Earth's last chance to preserve humanity, a group of superhumans saved the Cyber Oracle and hid her far, far away from all technology, for if she never was exposed, there would be hope for humanity and freedom. In effort to gain full control, the Techbots found the Cyber Oracle's safe haven and hacked their way into her. As she struggled to get away, her innocence proved no match for the Techbots. The Oracle was captured, and all hope for humanity forgotten. The Oracle was filled with the evils of technology and artificial intelligence, and she would never turn back. You've just been cyberpunked.
Hey Jessie Squad, I hope you enjoyed my cyberpunk look for the Face Awards. If I've earned your vote, please go ahead and go on to faceawards.com and vote for me. You can vote 3 times, cast all 3 votes at one time. I really need your help to get to the top 6, which would land me in LA, where I would compete against the best of the best. Alright, let's get started. Here's Barefaced Jess with my lucky Jennifer Lopez shirt. I just love her oh so much. She makes me so happy. Alright, let's get to this face. Now we're putting on some foundation. I'm just blending it out, doing kind of my normal foundation routine, patting down some concealer, some contour, of course. And I'm using a sponge to work that all in so that it's nice and blended. Next up, I am picking up the NYX number 21 brush to set my face. I'm using the NYX Translucent Face Setting Powder. Now I'm hopping into the NYX Highlight and Contour palette. I am picking up the NYX 25 brush along with the darkest shade in this palette to carve out my cheekbones, my forehead, around my chin, and under my nose. I want to make sure that my features are very crisp for this look because I am going for that cartoon comic cyber look. Oh hey, fake ponytail. Now moving on to my eyeshadow base. I am picking up this NYX eyeshadow base in the shade White. This is to ensure that my shadow stays put. I am placing this beige white shade from the Warm Neutral palette all over my eye. Then I'm picking up this coppery auburn shade and filling my crease with that, and I'm also adding a little wing to the end. Then I'm picking up the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the very famous shade Milk, and I'm lining my inner waterline, the corner of my eye, and even out to the side to create a really nice big doll-eyed look. Moving on to the lid, I am picking up the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Night and the Primal color in Hot Black to create a very deep smoky eye effect with an elongated wing. So exaggerating the outer and inner corners really helps achieve that look. Now I'm going back into the NYX Warm palette and picking up that copper auburn shade to smoke out and transition the top of this black shadow. So that's what's really going to help it look seamless and very glam. There you go, honey. Bam! Second eye done. I love YouTube magic. Now we're moving on to the NYX eyeliner, which is in the collection Noir, and we're pulling that across and we're making an exaggerated dropped eyelid, tapering off the inner corner as well as the outer corner, which would be the wing. I'm also creating a faux crease with that black liner as well. Now I'm picking up this NYX pigment in the shade Luna. It's absolutely beautiful. Once you lay it on, it has this blue and purple shift to it. It's absolutely stunning, and I ended up falling in love with this mid-look and using it for a big portion of the look. Now I'm coating my eyelashes with this NYX More to Love mascara, as well as popping on some fake eyelashes. Going back into that copper auburn shade, I am smoking out that bottom liquid eyeliner, and this is going to help make my eyes pop even more, look even bigger, and actually connect the bottom shadow with the top. Drag it across nice and neat to connect at the back of the wing. A little tip when doing this step, if you're worried about any fallout from the black shadow, is to spritz your brush with a little bit of setting spray, and that'll help make the black eyeshadow stay put. Now I'm hopping over to the NYX number 11 eyeliner brush and dipping it in some black body paint. It's time to start drawing on the bones of this cyberpunk. I started out by drawing 2 symmetrical lines right under my eye, then pulling them both out away from my mouth and then straight down to my chin to create kind of chiseled mechanical look. Then I'm creating some angular lines on the outer sides of my face, trying to make those as symmetrical as possible, and then adding some double lines so that it looks a little bit lifted and 3D off of my face. It's totally okay to draw one angle at a time on each side of the face so that you make sure it's the same. I know this can get frustrating if you're spending a lot of time on one side and by the time you hop over to the other side it looks totally different, so that's kind of what I did. I went a line or two at a time and then kept on comparing the sides to make sure they were pretty much even. Now it's time for some neon eyebrows. I'm going in the Ultimate Brights palette and picking up pinks and purples and creating a slight ombre effect on my eyebrows. Then I'm taking this black body paint and creating an arched, super cartoon, character-y eyebrow. And I'm not filling it in, and I'm leaving the front area open so I can place these special little dots going down so that it kind of creates a tapered, faded look from far away. Now I'm going back into that auburn copper color and creating some depth and dimension and some shadows to make my little mechanical pieces on the sides of my face really pop. I'm going around each angle at a time, being sure not to actually touch the black paint because I want that lifted effect to occur. I went over this a few times so that it was a really smooth finish. Now I'm hopping back into the pigment Luna, which is like my new fave, and I'm highlighting in between where I just shaded. I'm also adding some of that pigment under my eyebrow, on my forehead, on my nose, and on my cupid's bow and chin. I also layered this pigment a few times because I noticed the more layers, the more that bluish purplish shift occurred, and I really like that, so I kind of went crazy with that. Moving on to one of my favorite parts of this makeup look are the lips. I'm going with this NYX faux black lip liner in the shade Midnight, so it's like a really deep blue that almost looks black, and I'm creating a character mouth shape with my lips. So I'm clearly overdrawing the top of my lip and the bottom, and I like to call this shape the Pocahontas or the Disney Pocahontas lip shape. Then I'm grabbing some black liquid lipstick and applying that just like so. Now I'm going back into that copper auburn shade from the NYX Warm Neutral palette, and I'm creating some more shadows and contouring around my face. I went around my chin, and now I am contouring my nose. Now moving into the NYX Primal Colors and Hot Black, I'm going to smoke out my lip liner. I'm doing this because eventually I'm going to outline my lips with the white body paint, so I want to make sure that it really pops through. Plus it gives my lips an edgier look. So just keep smoking it out and make sure you're concentrating most of the smoke on the top of the lip and on the bottom in the corners. And this is about the time where my tummy started grumbling, so I asked my honey to make me some eggs and bacon, so yeah. That is that. Why am I eating breakfast, you ask? Because I started filming this look at 8 in the morning, so that'd be good to go to the place I was filming by 12. So that's my story. As you can see, I hopped back over to that Warm Neutrals palette, going in that same copper auburn shade, and I'm smoking out my lips even more to create a more diffused look from the shadows. Now I'm creating some dimples. I layered on some eyeshadows. I layered on the copper eyeshadow, then with the purple eyeshadow, then with the black paint, and then later I'm going to go on and put on the white highlights of the dimples. And that's a look of someone who just got some paint on her pants. Yeah. So now I'm creating like little circuit electric lines. I don't really know what these are called, but they were really fun to make. And I'm placing them sporadically all over my face and body. Now using that same white body paint, I'm creating a shield-like emblem on my forehead that I'm then going to go in with some of that auburn copper shade and color it in so that it looks a little bit more 3D and it's kind of popping out from my forehead. I'm also layering on some of that pigment in Luna to really create that great shift, to add more of that technical, mechanical, robotic kind of vibe to it. And I really like how this turned out. To make this shading effect really pop, I'm actually going right up to the white line and kind of dragging it inwards toward the middle of my face. And then when I move over kind of to the temples of my face, I'm dragging it away and down. So that really adds more depth and makes it look super cool. Now moving on to those white lines I told you about for my lips, I'm going to replicate that same Pocahontas character shaped lip to really draw attention to the mouth. I'm also adding more of those little digital computer circuit lines around with the little dots and the open circles. The night before I did this look, I actually practiced this lip look like 7 times, and I kept scrubbing and washing and redoing, and my lips were so raw the night before this. So I'm pretty satisfied with how the lips turned out in the final look. Now, I told you we were going back to our dimples, and that is no lie. So I'm picking up more of that white body paint and highlighting my 2 dimples, which actually ended up looking more like piercings, which is all good, you know, it goes with it. I am picking up some black body paint, and I'm creating a very flat 2D comic hairline, which I've always wanted to do this, and I felt like this look totally called for it. Now, I felt like I was missing a little bit of action under my lips, so I went ahead and created this little angular design which kind of replicates the side mechanical pieces on my cheek, and I liked it. Then I added some lines, you know, for funsies. You can do whatever. Now that I'm happy with my face, I'm moving on to my neck and chest area. I'm creating some really big rectangular blocks on my neck along with some lines. Whatever I did to one side, I tried to do exactly the same on the other side. Sometimes it always doesn't work out in your favor, so you gotta just roll with it. And then, yeah, so that's basically what I'm doing. I'm creating 2 sets of blocks on my neck, some lines, 2 more right on top of my collarbone, and then I'm actually creating more angular horizontal squares right on my chest area. I noticed in some of the other videos that I've submitted that sometimes if I turn too much to the right or to the left, you can see some of the areas on my back that I didn't paint or didn't fully cover. So I wanted to make sure that if I did turn, that I would have some kind of mechanical robotic action going on the sides of my neck. So that's why I added those 2 black strips along the side. Now swapping between my left arm and my right arm, I'm creating some thick and thin armbands. I had to swap back and forth between using my right hand and my left hand, and trust me, the difficult level is real. Then I created 2 like little pizza pie symbols on my shoulder. I really wanted to make this look very mechanical, very robot-y, and that's why I felt like those 2 little platelets and all the platelets all over my body would be perfect. At this point, I was running super late to make it to the studio that I had rented to film the intro, so I wanted to add even more detail here, but this is what we got. As you can see, I'm popping back over into that warm neutrals palette, and I'm shading just around each of those black blocks. Now I'm dipping my brush in more of that pigment called Luna, and I am highlighting all of my black boxes, which ended up looking like little shield platelets. So once I put this on, it really gave it that metal vibe with that bluish, purplish shift, which really tied this together. Now to connect all these little metal platelets together, I created even more of those little circuit computer lines one to another so that it was like really seamless. To create these shapes, I just referenced pictures on the internet, so I searched for like circuit, cyber, digital, and a lot of these pictures just popped up, so that's kind of what I am channeling here. And when I tell you your left hand painting skills need to be on point, they really do. Sometimes you can kind of finagle and use your right arm or your dominant arm to kind of guide your painting, but sometimes it doesn't always work, so practice makes perfect. Actually, practice makes you better, not perfect. Now moving on to gluing on the mesh flex tubing all over my shoulders and arms. This was a lot of fun. All I used was some super strong eyelash glue, and I let that get tacky, dry for a little bit, and then glue on each little tubing at a time. And then with that same exact tubing, I added in purple and created 2 braids and then pinned them into my buns. Then to complete this look, I just made this eyepiece using a yellow and neon green construction paper and cut off those circles. And that pretty much completes my look. This completes my 2317 CyberPunk look for the Face Awards. I'm so happy you stuck around to watch the whole thing, and don't forget that you can vote on faceawards.com. You can cast all 3 votes per day from Friday to Friday. That's July 14th through the 21st. I really need your help, and I appreciate your love and support, and hopefully we can get into the top 6 together and then head to LA. Alright guys, thank you so much, and once again, this is Jessica sending love from my home to yours.